You got my minutes?
Forced to make this.
Ready? Yeah. Probably calls meeting to order. I request that all phones be turned off or put on silent. Roll call.
Shoots.
Here.
Wheeler.
Here.
Irvin.
Here.
Fitzgerald.
Here.
Barry. Not here. Burtell.
Here.
Make a motion to excuse Councilman
Second.
Herrick.
Second. I think there's something here. Last meeting I got some on the pants. I think there's something's around here. I don't know what it could be, but.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Honey, I don't use that napkin, is it?
Wow.
That's even better.
Who,
You already made a motion, second by Adam.
Jody?
Yeah. Keep your white shirt back.
Yeah.
That's mine's at least black. To blend in.
If I make a motion, excuse the mayor for work.
That's fine.
Yeah, I move.
Second.
Should we do like a roll call on these or?
Yeah. Have to.
Yeah.
Who's on the motion?
George.
George.
I'll second. We roll call on both separate.
I did the first one.
Oh, okay. So I remember saying yes to this first one. Okay.
Burtell.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
Shoots.
Everybody stand for our prayer for all right.
Let us
Let us
pray,
pray,
Lord,
that we who serve your people in public office may have your blessings and guidance in our deliberations and decisions, so that what we accomplish here this evening will be just and beneficial to the people whom we serve. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, yes, we did. I actually have minutes from several meetings that I had to correct and fill in, so I'm going to hand them all out. The minutes from June 26th. Thank you.
Okay.
We did it one at a time, otherwise we'll probably drop them all over the floor.
Leave them running.
Leave it, yeah. All right, minutes from July the 10th, there were some things in question that Jeffrey had been corrected. Fill in. Thanks Jeff for all the times that I wasn't here to take the minutes. I don't know where your handwriting stinks.
But now we are still missing the May one, right? Either May 1st or May 8th, whatever date that was. I can tell you in a minute.
You first give me a second.
It would have been May 8th because I was supposed to be in Youngstown and I had to reschedule my whole 3 days.
All right, meeting for August the 14th. Mr. Shoots spoke tonight. We did.
Thank you.
I'm ashamed to sure from typing. You know,
I'll ask council to go through these as we go, and we'll come back at the end of the meeting and go down.
Here's the,
Thank you.
here's the one from our last meeting.
Instead of having everybody sit here waiting till we read them all.
May 8th.
8th.
And the mayor took the minutes that meeting.
All right, let's find out.
Maybe it was not here.
You were down in Charleston, I think.
Charles.
88th. All right, I will get with Mr. Clifton and see what we can do. Any petitions or communications, Judge?
No.
All right. At this time, I'm gonna get away from the regular meeting and I'm gonna go to the audience and I'll start on this side tonight. And if you want to say something, please hold your hand up, state your name, your address, and we'll go from there. We'll start this way. Harry? Young man? Okay, we'll go on that side. You got anything,
Please.
Mr. Mayor, stand up.
Fred Pernick, 2018 Commercial Avenue. Downtown, I got a problem with dog stool. And we have an ordinance on that.
Yep.
The other day, I had to clean up in front of the door to the center. And they're not picking it up, and so I'm gonna tell them the ones that are walking their dog from the high rise and this guy right across the street from up to their, from their place. And I would have caught him, it'd been different. But the thing is, I had to hose it because you couldn't pick it up. It was kind of soft, real soft. Anyhow, the point is this. Why can't, I know it's Brilliant has these little signs on their sidewalks. You're responsible for your dog when you walk it on the sidewalk. They have these signs. Anybody ever see them? He saw them. Which is good. We don't have nothing down there. So this one boy would, another guy told him, and then this certain individual went to this guy and says, "You trying to pick on me?" This remark to him. Now he told me he has to pick it up. He didn't do it. So what do you do in a case like that? You call 911 or what?
Call police, yeah. I'll see Chief Sagan and talk to him about this. Okay? I think he's already cited one guy,
Yeah,
I think.
he's well aware.
He knows about it. I think he already cited one guy.
Well, see, we got people from high rise walk their dogs that way too. And I told this one individual the same thing. I said, we have an ordinance. You gotta carry some kind of container with you to pick it up. Simple as that. You can't leave it lay on the sidewalk.
I would tell you to call 911, but I don't know if that's an emergency, but there is a number over there you can call. 1186, 535
I got it.
I got it?
Yeah.
You can call that one.
Okay.
But if you can't get any solved problems, I would call 911.
Yeah, see, not too many people's happy down that way with
Well,
this.
I'll see the chief about it.
All right.
Cal?
Kyle Moffett, 251 Clifton Avenue. I want to know if council had anything with the land bank.
No. As a matter of fact, Kyle, I have not gotten your pictures.
Okay, I'll resend it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a reference to the,
Property next
To
door.
the
Okay.
dirt missing.
okay. Is the land bank still functioning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Regional planning, through regional planning.
Okay.
Treasurer office involved with the color offices are all kind of pitching in a little bit. It's different.
What's her name's down there? Thompson. Betty Lou is running it.
I'll have Paula maybe call. You can call land bank, see what you can do. Mr. Smith.
No, sir.
That all, Cal?
Thank you.
Mr. Martin?
Yes, sir. Charles Martin, 245 Clifton. I handed out pamphlets today, as I did during the planning commission meeting, for you all to look over, if you would. And I was just going to read this off, if I could, to you all. First of all, it states, "I would like to start by saying that my wife and I have respect for all of you and the jobs that you do."
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Go ahead.
And it make things go a little smoothly. Just so everybody understands, I want to explain to everybody what the procedure is.
Okay?
Basically, the Planning Commission held a hearing on a request to amend the zoning ordinance. Planning Commission recommended not to rezone the ordinance. And I noticed on Bob's report, he has it here on his report. Ball's now in council's court. Council can act on it, or council can have a public hearing. If council wants to have a public hearing, we'll give notice, the whole thing. At that point, council can vote. And the reason I'm stopping you now, if they're gonna hold a public hearing, you might as well we can, make your presentation, be probably better at the public hearing. If you decide to have a public hearing, then like I said, we'll submit notices, we'll do the required notices, and you can hold a public hearing and then act on it afterwards. since the planning commission voted no, it will take a 3/4 vote of council to overturn. So you're aware that's 5 votes to overturn the planning commission's decision. So you can decide, I'd suggest you decide if you're gonna have the public hearing, and then if you decide you don't wanna have a public hearing, then Mr. Martin, certainly could present his position now.
I don't know if we have to do that in the form of a motion
And the
or just a
motion to
response.
conduct a public hearing.
Is that basically like a town hall? Is that?
It's a public hearing. It's an open public hearing. You put notices in the paper and.
Me personally, I would like to do that. I mean, being involved in the meeting, Mr. Martin did share what he was about to read here, in the meeting. It was very well crafted, well explained, and appreciate his points and his concerns. The vote of the committee was passed back to council, as you hear. Me personally, my feelings on it, I would like to get more public input to see what the public thinks. So I make the motion that we do hold a public hearing to address any concerns, questions, as well as get a little bit of input from the public. So I'll make that motion.
I second.
October 9th at 6 o'clock before the next council.
No, time out.
You have to have at least 30
You gotta
days.
go out and
You have to have 30
advertise.
days.
He's gonna explain it to you.
The public hearing requires notice to be published at least 2 times. I think it's just once a week for 2 weeks. And the hearing has to be at least 30 days after the initial publication. So you won't be able to do it on the 9th.
Do we have to tell you that date right now, or when I find out the new date?
Well,
30
it's-
days.
I mean, council can set the date, or you can just say we're gonna have a public hearing and then we'll figure out when the date is.
Okay.
And you can't vote on this, on anything that has to do with this.
Well, no, I understand.
And now, Ernie, you said the 3/4 being 5. If he
Yeah.
doesn't vote, it has to be
Still
5.
five,
So all
yeah.
of us have to agree.
It's still 5, it's
Okay.
5 members.
So if we put in the paper tomorrow, is that what you're saying?
Can't go on paper.
Yeah, it has to, if you put a paper tomorrow, it has to be 30 days.
I'm not even gonna be here.
It's not gonna get in tomorrow.
I'm gone.
I mean, you could get it in sometime.
How about we schedule it like for next October 2nd, the next Tuesday, then a month later would be, that's Halloween, can't do that. I'm just looking at the calendar for a month.
We don't have a meeting on Halloween. We won't have a meeting on Halloween.
It's on Wednesday. Was it 30 days after the planning meeting, or 30 days after?
30 days after the first notice.
Okay.
So when do you want to put it in the paper, Mr. Because you're gonna be gone, right?
I'm gonna be going till Tuesday.
Till next Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm leaving here tonight, or tomorrow morning.
So that is the 2nd.
Yeah, I could probably, you could probably draft something up, put it in there,
Yeah.
So if you wanna just figure out the days, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, it would, it would probably, I wouldn't, just looking at it, I'd say the earliest would be like the 1st of November.
Yeah, because if we put it in Friday, the 30 days from Friday.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If you get it in by Friday, it'd be 30 days.
Yeah.
Would be,
Can we shoot for November 13th sometime then?
that's fine. But
We can probably shoot, you wanna shoot for one of the council meetings, is that what you?
That is
So
the
if
13th.
if
Might
they.
get better attendance. That'd be the first council meeting in November.
So you wanna have that meeting probably at
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock at the latest, 6 o'clock
Yeah.
probably, right?
Yeah.
We can try to shoot for 13 November. And you just work yourself backward. Well, it doesn't even matter if you put it in Friday, then
Well,
you have to.
you only have to, all you have to do is make sure you get it in
Two
before.
weeks.
6 p.m., right?
Should I refer to that as tentatively scheduled?
Yeah.
November 13th. The order of council,
Yep.
anybody got any objections to it? George?
Roll call first, then we should fill in some other date here.
So Adams, okay, Jude, second. Okay.
Shoots.
Yes.
Peeler.
Yes.
Urban.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Bertel.
Yes.
And I'm fine with,
November 13th, okay?
yeah, that makes
All right.
good sense, yeah.
Okay,
If somebody discovers they have a problem, let me know before Friday.
yeah, please. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Martin? How are you?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nobody else has anything?
I did want to say something. Edward Littlejohn, I'm just here on behalf of a client. I just want to make a public records request for the June 26th minutes, the September 18th minutes, any other meeting minutes that dealt with the crematory. Also, I would like to make a request for the application for the zoning variance.
You'll put that in writing?
I can put that in writing. too.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
I
way
didn't-
there's no confusion.
Okay, do you have a formal procedure on that?
It's somewhat informal, but you file a records request with the clerk. Just detail what you want. And we'll get it as quickly as we can.
And just to make sure that I'm clear on this, was there a request to have an amendment to the zoning, or is this a variance?
It was an amendment to the zoning ordinance.
An amendment to the zoning ordinance?
Yes.
No application for a variance?
No application for a variance.
Thank you.
There's no variance. There's no variance available. The ordinance specifically says you can't have a crematory with a funeral home as an accessory, so
Thank
it
you.
would have to be rezoned. Or not rezoned, it would amend the ordinance, the restriction. And I can show you, I'll show it to you now if you want to take a quick look at the ordinance, at the,
And we can want to look at it right this second, or?
well, if you want to, I can step out and show you, at least show you what it is, so we'll know.
Yeah, we can look at it now.
Okay.
We'll excuse you.
Okay.
We'll just go on that, yes. Anything else? You got anybody else?
No, sir. Thank you.
We'll go to report of officers, I guess, but the mayor's not here, so I have no report on him. So we'll go to our building administrator, Mr. Smith.
Okay, we're still moving along with the storm sewer separation. I just talked to Thrasher today. Basically, we have the funding. Right now, we're actually applying for additional funding just in case our 0% funding might not be there for the EQ tank and the grid system. Because we're not positive yet that we're going to get that 0% on that. So we're applying for backup funding at 3%. But we're pretty sure. He's actually going to meet with those folks. He has to be out in Columbus, I think, next week. And I talked to Paula and them out there, and I think the new guy's Dennis. And I mean, I told him, hey, look what we're doing here. I mean, come on, this is what you guys should be looking to fund. I mean, we're trying to do everything we can to meet the EPA standards, and we're exceeding what they wanted us to do at this point in time. So I think that we're going to be okay, but just in case, we got backup in case we want to go through with the project at 3%, I'd still love to get it at 0%. So that's what we're working on. Commercial street project, we had a pre-construction, and they should be mobilizing probably, I think, about the second week of October. So I said that they have other, I told them they gotta be done by November 1st. I said, that's what your deadline is. And they went out to core samples, which was really good because the concrete underneath there is in really good shape. We had 30% repair in our bid. So I'm gonna try, and I don't know if I can, I'm gonna try to use all the money that we can, possibly extend the scope of that project. I don't know if I'm gonna go south, I don't know if I'm gonna go north. I know I'm gonna go north at least to meet the bridge, where they did the bridge work. But I'm still not sure whether I wanna go south down towards the village limits where Patty's Diner is at, or go north to try to go up underneath the underpass. Because both those roads are bad, and the one down towards Patty's Diner, I think that's probably even worse than the one going north, even though I'd rather go north than coming into Mingo. But I'll cross that bridge when we get there. Like I said, I don't know how much they'll allow us to have over. We got a very good price. Okay, we got a very good bid. I'm thinking we might have to make $100,000 more or whatever else. And I'm going to try to go over the mill and talk to them a little bit too to see if I can get anybody to kick in any additional funding. We'll continue to blacktop. Hopefully, we're going to paint the pool Thursday and Friday. I told Timmy no matter what it takes. I said I don't want to mess around with this weather. As soon as that concrete gets cold, then it's not going to adhere. That paint's very expensive. The last time they tried to do this, they waited till the spring, and it was a disaster. So we're going to hopefully get that done Thursday and Friday. And I told him, like I said, I don't care what it takes. Let's get that done. I lost my level 2, but I got my level 2 back, I think, didn't I? Now he'll be back to work 3 October from the guy from Wintersville. He's not going to move. He just loves us that much. He didn't want to leave us. I tell you, he felt really bad. I mean, we had a heart-to-heart with him. Sorry. We did have a heart-to-heart talk. He just felt, he thanked me a lot for letting him work here. I mean, he's a great guy. He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
So I hope he stays here for a while. I hope you get certified too, okay?
I'm working on that.
I know, I understand. We talked about the crematorium, it was a 3-1-1 vote, not to modify the ordinance. Well, we went round and round with that, trying to figure out what the wording should be. But it was not to modify the ordinance, and now we know we got our marching orders to actually have a public hearing, so we'll work on that. Continue to work on catch basins. We have a slip starting at Battle Run. That road has just been a pain in the rear, man. I mean, it's just, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to look at it, and the thing is that could be very expensive. You got to bring pallets in there and drive them in there and whatever else. I don't know what we're going to do. So we'll take a look at that, and hopefully nobody will go over. We won't lose anybody real soon. I actually found somebody to give me a quote on it. So,
Yeah, I'm sure it's an
I reached out to actually a guy that his son went to school with my daughter. And I said, hey, this guy's in full business, and he gave me this guy name. Actually, he was just down there today. So I don't know what he's going to, what the pricing is going to be. When I first called him, he goes, oh yeah, I'll put one in $400. I said, oh. I said, you need to come look at this. I said, I want the concrete taken out. I want new concrete put in. You're going to have to put the base in. You're going to have to put the board in. I want him to do the whole thing. That way the liability is all on one individual. So it looks like we may be able to swing that. I think it would be great for our pool, honestly.
Another medium or small board?
Just a small board. I don't want to get anything, I think the same size is that a medium board we got in there right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Medium or small?
Medium.
Medium, you want 2 mediums? I don't want you getting on it, okay? Chunky. You guys don't remember Chunky?
I do.
Chunky, my God, that thing was bending all the way down to the water, man. When he hit that board, we had to put more water in the pool. What a dude. Need somebody to attend the regional planning meeting tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock. I will not be here.
I'm heading south
Please
Thursday.
look around.
Church starts at 6.
I'm just looking around. I can't, like I said, I'll call in from Colorado, but I don't think they'll accept that.
I can try to find someone to take my spot for the last half hour. We get down there by 7. I won't know for certain until tomorrow
Okay.
if I can do it or not.
I had something else, I just can't remember what it was, folks. I'm gonna tell you something else, but I can't remember what it is. Must have been a lie.
Anybody got anything for Mr. Smith?
I do. You were talking about roads, and I've been contacted by Pauline Hatcher, the Grant Alley.
Okay, when you're contacted, do you contact us, or do you wait?
No, she just sent
Okay.
me a thing yesterday, so I just figured tonight's the night.
What's wrong with that?
Half the road's missing. She supposedly lost a muffler last year, and this year I guess yesterday, blew a tire.
Who's that?
That's the Grant Alley.
I
And I know alleys are one thing, but it's the only way to get to their house. If they have groceries, they've got to go up there to be able to unload their car.
We can throw something in there. Green Alley, okay. Okay.
Well,
Wait,
good catch.
half the road's missing.
Yeah, I seen it, that was there.
Who's the lady?
Is that the one?
Pauline Hatcher.
Pauline
Okay,
Hatcher.
That's another bowling hatchet.
Pauline Hatcher.
Down the bottom, before you turn back onto the Lincoln Avenue.
Okay, we'll take a look at it. I mean, like I said, we're gonna dump a lot of,
I do got 2 things I want to ask you about. And
I'll stand up for you.
No.
Okay.
The county job, what sort of thing?
Don't know. I don't have, I have not contacted them. I kinda hope they don't do it this
Well, I'm just worried about our roads.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just hoping they don't do it this year. Because I'm gonna be putting that new road in, and if they block it down there, then we're gonna have the truck traffic on our brand new road. I mean, I can't stop that. Nobody can stop that.
About the slide up here.
Slide up here, actually talked to the guy, probably not till next year. And I told him, I said, that slide is getting worse. He goes, well, if it turns into an emergency, let us know. I said, I guess when the first car's over the hill, we'll let them know.
And the other one I told you about. The other
Yeah,
one.
they were here.
Yes.
I talked to them, they were gonna go try to backtrack.
I mean, this rain's killing us, they're just washing everything
I
out.
know. But I was surprised that they're not gonna start on this slip up here. I thought that they were gonna do that this year. But he told me, I just got off the phone with him, because he wanted me to tell him if I had any services up there or anything like that, which we don't. And we haven't got any water lines going up there or anything like that. And I thought that he was gonna start it, I thought they were gonna mobilize actually here in the next couple of weeks, but he said, nope, they're marked for 2019. I said, okay. He said, now, if it becomes an emergency, well, I'll notify him, if it's, I I don't know what he deems an emergency though, you know, when thunder starts falling, because it's falling over the hill,
Yeah.
decent right now. But when they do that, it will be all closed. They'll close that ramp off totally. So.
As long as they don't change their mind.
Yeah.
As long as they don't change their mind.
The Peeler Street wall, did Timmy check it out?
I don't know what he's supposed to check out, the Pillar Street wall. I'm sorry, somebody said that to measure this and measure that. I don't know what he's gonna measure. What's he gonna measure? Guys, I want you guys to give direction on this, because I don't know what you want to do with that, and I'm not gonna be the one that makes the decision on that.
The question is, where is it located? Is it on Mr. Peeler's property? Is it on the right of way? Before you
Your
get
dad
something,
called
I
me
need to
and he
know
was,
before.
he was going through, I'm sitting there going, please, no. We went through 5 generations. I said, I don't know. So, I mean, I'm not gonna make that decision. You guys make a decision what you wanna do with that.
I mean, that's what really needs determined is
Yeah.
whether it sits on the right of way or it sits on the property.
So are we back to calling a surveyor?
That's what you wanna do. I mean, it's probably $1,500 to do it.
I mean, what you talked about initially was going up and see if you could find pins and measuring from.
I don't think there's,
The
I
property
don't think he knows.
but I don't know that there are any out
One
there.
might possibly be your dad.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough.
Yeah,
Someone-
I know.
You're more than welcome to go up there and
Like I said,
search
I'm
around.
not
I
gonna
mean,
be, I'm not
good
gonna
luck.
be in the middle of that.
That wall's
You
been there
guys-
for.
So that's your
If you
option.
guys wanna make a decision, say, fix it, wanna do this, do that, you make the decision, because I'm just not gonna make that decision. I'm not making that decision.
I just, we need to do something, obviously, one way or the other.
Just watch what you do, because
Precedent.
you're gonna set a precedent, okay? That's all I'm warning you about, okay?
We fixed walls in this town.
I know we have,
Yeah,
you're exactly
it's
right,
like-
you're exactly right.
No.
I just fixed one up there, remember?
Right.
And if I'd have known it was Hatfield and McCoy's, it would have never been done. I'm
Right.
serious, it would have never happened, honestly. That was a little bit of a nightmare. I mean, I love both those people up there, and I really didn't realize what I was getting into until I got stung by that wasp nest, okay? And it just,
If you, it may be in your best interest to go up and look at it, get an estimate of the cost before you even worry about a survey. If it's gonna cost less than the survey to fix, you certainly want to fix it, you just make sure you got permission from the property owner.
well, the issue's gonna be, like I said, we're gonna have to put a drain in up there for sure.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And here's the issue, once we do fix that and put that drain in, we're gonna have to be released from liability if something happens going down in that basement, because
Right.
we can't be sitting there held accountable
Yeah.
for everything there. I mean, we'll do the best we can, probably put a French drain in
Right.
and try to get that water out of there, but like I said, I'm not gonna make a move till you guys direct me
Yeah,
what to do.
and I think you can make a better judgment if you know what the improvements are gonna cost.
Way back when, we almost did it. This is, I think, when I first got here.
Yeah,
We almost did it. It was this close.
yeah, I remember.
And then, I really don't know what happened after that. I think the people, I don't know what happened. My memory can't go back that far. What's your name? No. So, like I said, you guys wanna go up there, look at it, you guys wanna make a decision, whatever you wanna do, we can do that.
Based upon a simple walkthrough, which of course, that's subjective to some degree, looking at the county website, which the maps overlay, the overlay of the maps was exact on the one property that I had surveyed on Longview, but I don't know if that's going to be, that perfectness is going to relate all the way down the hill. It's a variable.
It's gonna be tough.
But
It's gonna be
it
tough.
looks like it's on the east. Looks like.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
It's Mhm.
See,
Well,
the
like I
con-
said,
the
go up there,
concrete
take a
wall
look
that's-
at it.
The concrete wall that's falling is like a
Mhm.
two foot,
It's about 2 foot, 2.5 foot wall.
It's the type of concrete, it comes down and then it runs across the actual cutting off the right of way. You know what I mean? It cuts off the right of way, running parallel with Peeler Street. It's the same concrete all the way up.
Told you I'll get it back, no, we'll just push it back. The wall
No,
down.
it's all, it's down. I mean, it's
Is
down.
it down all the way down?
It's down.
I know it was getting
It's
close.
been down since April, beginning
So
of
it's all the way
April.
on the sidewalk?
It's fell, it's down. It's been down since like first week of April.
So that would have to be removed and a drain put in, or the wall
Yeah,
rebuilt.
Or something rebuilt, yeah, because that's, like I said, it's not
That's
just.
a retaining wall,
It's
kind of,
down.
it's kind of a retaining wall.
Kind
sitting
of,
there,
to an
you know.
extent, yeah, it's not holding a whole lot back,
No.
but it is a retaining wall, yeah.
Sounds like it needs to go in my safety report.
I don't-
If the bricks are all laying on the sidewalk, I mean,
But is that ours?
I don't
The
know.
safety report is something that we deal with. we don't deal with safety issues on personal property.
I mean, the wall.
But these are on the sidewalk, right? That would be our
That's their,
property.
that's their sidewalk. No, the sidewalk's right there by the house, right? Right next to the house. That's their sidewalk.
Going
Okay.
back.
That's your sidewalk, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that isn't our sidewalk, I wouldn't think. It's right next to the house. If I remember right, it's right next to the house.
Oh, yeah, it's right next to the house. It goes down. It's like what everyone has used up there in that neighborhood. I mean, kids going to school, everybody, as you go down and you cut across. I mean, I don't know.
Still not a public sidewalk, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Trespass.
But the wall,
They're trespassing.
the concrete in the wall,
Charge admission
literally,
earlier.
it's a 2-foot wall goes down. The Peeler family would not build a wall going up Peeler Street, cutting off this right of way. It's not our right to cut off a right of way in Mingo. We don't own that lot. But hey, if you want us to assume that lot, like we said, we'll assume the fallen down wall and everything, relinquish that lot. But Ernie says then when you get into
You got it.
legal speak, oh, you're vacating the
Vacating.
lot, and you split it.
What
yeah,
is
split it
happening
two
is you
ways.
would be vacating the right of
Abandoning,
way.
yeah.
You know, we talk about easement as actual right of way, which is a little bit different, but you'd be vacating the right of way, in which case one side goes to, would go to the Peelers, the other side would go to the other property owner.
Even if you
Guys, take a look.
Even if you take it
But
down,
yeah,
the other property owner owns like 1 inch off of his sidewalk. And that's where his property line is. It's literally cuts his sidewalk off. And he's got steps and everything going all the way out into the alley, but that's, a survey will show that if it gets surveyed. But yeah, if you want to meet up there and have a look at it, by all means.
Otherwise, nothing's gonna get done. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just gonna be a state of
A
perpetual.
wall laying there, yeah.
How much is wall you gonna remove, that's the problem.
Oh, I don't
You can't
know.
even clean the street.
Once you get so far down, it seems like there's some of it is leaning more upright than a lot of it. A lot of it is like literally, it's more. It's going to fall any day now. It probably won't make it through the winter. You know, the rest of what is up. But once you get so far down, some of it is still rather straight.
I mean, if you went up there with a backhoe and dug it up and set the wall back up.
Either that or you use patio block or something like that, like we did up at the other
Right.
place, you know. I can get you those big, huge ones in there. No, but I mean, you know, you could probably use that patio block almost to do what you need there. I mean, we did
Like
it.
we said, as long as
I
you're
mean,
doing
you know,
a decent
I mean,
drain,
you got-
that's all I'd be concerned about.
I mean,
As
you
long as
guys,
it's draining,
you guys
it's
saw
draining.
what was up there for Bugsy. I mean, it turned out very, very
Yeah.
nice. And it wasn't all that expensive. It really wasn't. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, because I didn't compute it at the time that we were up there 14 different times. But I don't care, whatever, you know.
A price number would be good as far as going in, okay, how much would it cost if it is ours, and if we assume that,
I'll talk to Timmy tomorrow, just
Yeah.
to take a look at what he thinks. Like I
I
said,
can just get a rough estimate of how you want to repair it and what it's going to cost.
it's about 2.5
You
foot,
can look
right?
at it, you
Oh.
can see what you
How long?
what you want
Well, I'll have
to
it
do.
measured.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'll have it measured, we'll get some pricing on some block or whatever else, or like I said, we can dig it out, push it back up if it's not all cracked up, it might be all cracked up.
Yeah,
I
different
wonder if there's any
pieces.
footer, we have a footer poured up there, I wonder.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't really have to look at that spot that fell, but.
Okay, sorry.
All right. You know, I can't tell the committee to go up here because Adam's on the committee, sorry. Yeah.
So I said, hey, have at it. You're more than welcome to go up and check it out.
I mean, I've been there, Adam.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple, 3 times, you know.
Yeah, I've been there a long time ago, I've been up there probably 2 years, but I was up there when I first took the job.
It's just a frustration. I mean, it's been down, it's been a problem for a long time.
I'll have him.
And before, I mean, the lot was offered to my family. My grandfather was about 90 years old at the time. He said, I don't want that. What do I want it for? He said, I just want the wall fixed. At the time, I don't know how the administrator then planned on getting it or doing it. I don't know how if even he could, but it was offered to my family. But my grandpa said, hey, I don't want it. I just want it fixed. But he said,
I told you, your dad called me, I was on the phone for at least half an hour.
Oh, I can
for 3 or
imagine.
14 generations. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
I think I'll have Timmy take a look, I haven't measured how much he thinks we need to replace, if we will replace it, or if it can be dug out and pushed back up. I would probably think that, you know, it's cracked a little bit, you probably want to replace it, I mean, but I'm not gonna say that. for sure.
But it fell, I was just there, it fell over onto the sidewalk.
Yeah.
There's sidewalk.
Right.
That's all. Okay. Clerk. Jack, you got anything?
Nothing today.
Huh?
Nothing today, thank you.
Ernie?
Nothing.
Chief, where'd he go? Oh. Hey, Chief.
Well,
Huh?
Yes.
Cruiser's gone.
Fire chief, he's not here. You. IT, whatever you are.
Well, let's go to wastewater first. Two things. First one, the grit tank, we installed the second blower, up and running, tested. Now we have the ability to shut one down, maintenance, change oil, let the other one run. That's the way the plan was designed. Thank you, Bob. That part of the project to me is done now. Everything else is going to be the new grid system. That will still be there, even with a new grid system. That tank will have to stay there and function. It just won't have any gravel going into it from now on. The second thing, I've been trying to figure out how to word this, but it has come to my attention that on Friday, I was 63 years old. Now, Wintersville's having all kind of problems because they lost their chief operator. What I'm trying to get at is, I'm 63, there's nobody at the plant, and John Wall only has about 3 years, maybe 4 years before he retires. I would like you to consider hiring somebody that I could train, teach, and let them know all the ins and outs of that plant before I'm gone. The revenue that I have, and we've increased at the plant, warrants a part-timer. While Wall was on vacation, Bob let me have a part-timer down there, which was Hogue Huggins. And I was very impressed with this guy. And we even sat down and did a lot of the EPA math and everything else. In my opinion, he is the candidate. If you wanted to consider another employee, he would start out part-time. He is my pick to be the next chief operator of the wastewater plant, according to the abilities and how he handled. Within a week, he had most of the stuff picked up. It usually takes some guys 30 days to do, with no problem. I was very impressed. I'm not trying to sell the guy or anything. My main point of this conversation is, I've seen other plants in the past not have any backups or anybody that could assume the position if something would happen to somebody. They all get through. Sooner or later, they figure it out. But the cost effectiveness and everything else of being able to have somebody that actually can take over, I would really like you to consider hiring a part-timer that I could train to take over because I'm 63. Thank you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we talked about it. We need to definitely start looking down the road, guys.
You know, that's similar issue in a few departments here in the village,
Yeah.
where we have an aging workforce and not a whole lot of,
Well,
Coming.
my water guy, I mean, you know, he came back from retirement. How long is he gonna go? Timmy, you know, he's
But
probably eligible, a couple more years, he's eligible. He's probably eligible for retirement right now if he wanted to go.
see all our
So-
woes with the EMTs and the firefighter and
Let's not forget the garbage truck driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baker's probably gonna go by
a lot,
another
a
year.
lot of departments around
Yeah.
here. That's
Yeah.
we got similar-
Just about every department
Appreciate it.
around here.
In my department, it's knowing what valves to turn to accomplish the feats and all. Even with working with Wall and him being a short timer too, we need somebody that knows the layout of that plant, and it isn't a short-term fix. You can throw anybody in there and they can run it, but it's gonna cost the village a lot of money until this guy figures out the easy ways of doing stuff. So I'm asking for a part-timer that I can train, that's all.
And if we would hire somebody, they would have to have what, their class one
We
within
would see, we would definitely progress them, you know.
I can say that this guy is more than willing. He could actually, he has a lot of other qualifications. He's been to colleges and schools and passed all this other stuff that he does. He has the ability. I haven't seen anybody with that kind of ability, and I went through 5 guys now. The ability this guy has of doing it, he's my recommendation.
He's also one of our part-time firemen.
Because he's a Huggins. That's why I hesitated. So I hope it didn't come from that tree. Hey, doing, Jack?
That's all, thank you, Jack.
Since nobody's here from the water, you want to speak on part of the water? No?
The water's still going through the pipes.
Okay. All right,
We're doing pretty good down
Committee
there.
reports
And
in.
everything.
Finance. Mr. Huggins, we have a finance meeting doing.
Yes, we did.
You're gonna kind of report?
And we, actually wrote it all up. We decided not to finance both ambulances and the truck all at once. We would be looking at financing $400,000 at 3.99%, in essence doubling our payment that we would be paying for the one ambulance right now as part of the levy. So we decided not to do that at this time, and in a couple of years we can revisit, or if we end up getting a surplus of money somehow, maybe from the mill, if it takes off like we hope, we could revisit that at any time, possibly maybe pay cash for the ambulance instead of financing. So interest rates might go up, but our revenue coming in might increase quite a bit too. So we're willing to take that chance at the moment and just finance the one ambulance for now.
Anybody else got anything for finance? Ordinance, Adam?
You have two ordinances. You have the ordinance from the last meeting that you gave a first reading to borrow the $200,000, and you have a ordinance to increase the wages of part-time firemen that are filling full-time terms, which you guys also approved.
I have the part-time.
Yeah, well, I don't know what, you had the other one last week,
I'll have to get it out.
and I think you gave it a first reading.
Is that for the ambulance, Ernie?
What's that?
Is that for the ambulance?
Yeah, that was the ordinance from the last meeting that they gave a first reading to, and then decided to have the finance committee meeting discuss.
And the reason you're not gonna actually get the cash until the beginning of next year.
Right, you won't see any cash until probably spring of next year, because by the time the county collects and distributes. Which was actually another reason that council had decided to not to do the 200,000, because the payment should have been made before you received any money.
You got a copy of it?
George.
2018-15, is that the,
Well, that's the organization funds.
I think it
That's
was
not.
19, I was 18 dash.
You know what, I have to ask you is to make a motion also to let me pursue that 3%
I'm
line.
sure we had it.
Might be something that I can just get in the minutes, so that I have that, so that I can be a part of. I think that I gotta get you guys to allow me to pursue that funding.
Vicky comes back, where he went to.
I think it's just a square filler, but I just gotta have it.
yeah.
You talking the ambulance first?
Yeah.
And like I said, I think you gave it, I remember you gave it the first reading at the last meeting.
Ambulance.
And the ambulance will be ordinance 2018-19. The ambulance number will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One
You
for
have
Ernie.
projects?
One
Yeah,
for
sure.
Ernie and Mark.
I don't-
No.
Thank you.
Yep.
I thought you gave it, and you may want to check the minutes, but I thought you did. If you didn't, you just start over with first reading.
Okay.
Minutes for September 11th. Or no, that was on the finance.
On the minutes, I wasn't here, but in the minutes, it said motion to adopt ordinance with -14 to finance ambulance. Maybe it was a motion to bring forth the ordinance? or-
No, the motion.
That's what the minutes say,
Yeah,
so I don't-
I think that was the motion, just to bring an ordinance.
Okay, so this will be the first reading tonight then?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't
I
remember.
was here.
I couldn't remember if there was a first reading at the last meeting or not. So you wouldn't give it.
Is there a big hurry with this, Ron? We need to,
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay for the ambulance.
Because it's coming
The
in like a
ambulance is
month.
delay.
I know, but do we want to give it the emergency reading?
I think you should suspend the rules and pass it tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, your ambulance is gonna be here probably before your next meeting, so you're gonna have to pay for it.
It's supposed to be October 1st.
Yeah. So give it a first reading, and then you can make a motion to suspend the rules.
Ordinance 2018-19, an ordinance authorizing the village to borrow $200,000 from FNB, First National Bank Corporation, LLC, for the purchase of an ambulance without competitive bidding and declaring an emergency. Good.
I move that rule requiring an ordinance or resolution to be read by title only on 3 separate occasions be dispensed with, and ordinances or resolutions numbered ordinance 2018-19 be given its second and third reading at this time by title only and placed before council for its final passage or rejection.
Second.
Roll call.
Schutz.
Yes.
Peeler.
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Bertel.
Yes.
Second reading. Ordinance 2018-19, an ordinance authorizing the village to borrow $200,000 from FNB Corporation, First National Bank LLC, for the purchase of an ambulance without competitive bidding and declaring an emergency.
Third reading.
Ordinance 2018-19, an ordinance authorizing the village to borrow $200,000 from FNB, First National Bank Corporation LLC, for the purchase of an ambulance without competitive bidding and declaring an emergency.
Adam.
I move that ordinance 2018-19 be adopted this time, presented.
Second.
Jody.
Second.
Bertel.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes.
Peeler. Yes. Schutz.
Yes.
You have an ordinance, not a ordinance?
We have a second ordinance. Ordinance 2018-20. An ordinance to amend ordinance 2017-21, establishing wages of part-time firefighters in the village and declaring an emergency.
How much is that going up to?
$2.
$2, it's going up $2 an hour for part-timers when they fill in for a full-timer and they are in charge of the shift.
What's their rate now, 11?
13.
13, so it's going to 15.
13.10 to
15.10. 15.10. Now, when they're answering calls, when they're the second person out, they'll still get the 13.10. It only applies when they're in charge of the term or replacing the full-time position.
Here.
We got one for Mr. Harris.
Yeah. Sorry.
He needs that last one too. I don't think we put one on his desk, the 19 for Harris.
Mark out one.
You like your?
Yeah.
Like, you accept for them?
Yeah.
Okay. Need a motion?
To adopt.
Well, this ordinance, yeah.
Well, a motion to suspend, if you want to read
No,
this.
I need a motion. You gotta read it first, Jack. You read it already?
Okay. Yeah, I did it once.
So you need a motion
I need a
to
motion.
suspend the rules.
Yeah. Okay, George.
I move that the rules requiring a motion ordinance be read on 3 separate occasions be dispensed with, and ordinance number 2018-20 be given a second and third readings at this time and sit before council for its passage or rejection.
Second.
Roll call.
Schutz.
Yes.
Peeler.
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Bertel.
Yes.
Second reading.
Second, third reading, please.
Ordinance 2018-20, an ordinance to amend ordinance 2017-21, establishing wages of part-time firefighters in the village and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 2018-20, an ordinance to amend ordinance 2017-21, establishing wages of part-time firefighters in the village and declaring an emergency.
George.
I move that ordinance 2018-20 be adopted as presented at this time.
Second, Jody?
Yep.
Bertel,
Yes?
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Irvin,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Schutz.
Yes.
That's all the rest we have?
Yes, all for tonight.
Anything else? All right, that's it?
That's all for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Safety, Jody?
Shrubs, hedges, and trees. I don't know if it falls under safety or not, but I don't know how many of you guys went up and sat on Millie's porch with her. I didn't sit on the porch with her, but I did go by. I did take pictures. It's a mess. It's like a jungle growing out of the yard. According to what John told me, there is nothing in our ordinance that has anything to do with shrubs, trees, or bushes. And I don't know what we can do about this. What can we do anything? And let me show you some pictures, because it's a mess. And you know, unfortunately, the times of being good neighbors, I don't think that counts as much as it used to.
I mean, I'd suggest that that you sit down with John, since he's probably most familiar with the, I know what's happening.
I was there.
I would suggest you sit down with John, see what his suggestions are, and see what we can do to, you know, perhaps pass new ordinance. One of the problems is you have to be careful with trees and shrubs, because they are, quote, ornamental. And people do have the right, you know, to have trees and shrubs and so forth.
Right.
One of the problems is it's very difficult to put like height restrictions or things like that. It's not easy because, like, you know, your 4-foot bush could be a mess, and my 6-foot bush could be very nice. You know, so
But when it's coming out onto the public walkway.
when it comes on the right of way, we can
or-
trim it.
Or when you're infringing on a neighbor's property, you know, your
They can trim it.
overgrowth is all.
They can trim it.
I've actually been
Huh?
trimming it and doing weeding along the sidewalk and everything, just so she don't have to look at that much.
Yeah.
As far as the shrubs being taller, I told her just let them grow taller, because then you don't have to look at that shit staying across the street from you. So, you know, that way you don't have to even bother here. But I had to cut down on the right side here, which is actually lawn car, which is where the house is considered to be located. And cut down there, there's a huge chunk of cement and everything, and I've cut down there so that not only can she see down there, but, and so can the vehicles, city or otherwise.
Well, now, there is an issue now. If you have shrubs that are inhibiting view, obstructing view on the street, yeah, we can go in and order those turned down. We can file charges to the police department on those.
Well, the fire
And if
department
the-
can go up there and give us guidance on that, right? I mean,
Well,
Or the
what I'm suggesting is, yeah, you can do, and as Jay said, the village has the right to trim anything that hangs over the right of way. No question about that. Adjacent property owners would have the right if it hangs over onto their property.
This particular house, I asked John about it, if he could get with Mr. Reha and find out what happened. And he said a notice was sent, but the owner is a mortgage company out of Texas. That's why we're having difficulty getting it
what do
taken
you
care
run
of.
into right there?
That's always the problem.
So, you know, once again, it seems like our hands are tied, and it's a real shame. I don't know what to do, what resources we can.
Well, your resources as far as the village can file the charges if there's a violation, if they're obstructing. You can trim properties you trim bushes and shrubs or trees that are hanging over the right of way.
If the
Can't go onto their
garage,
property.
if the garage has a hole in the roof and
That's a problem.
it's missing the door.
That's a property code violation, and the fire department can cite them for that.
Can that be like condemned? Is that a possibility?
It depends. I mean, I can't sit there and say, I don't know exactly what all the problems are. You'd have to look at all the problems, and they're certainly more qualified than I am to look at it and make a decision. But yeah, if you got a hole in the roof of your garage and it's falling down, yeah, you can order it torn down or repaired. But your problem again is how do you get a hold of a mortgage, or how do you deal with a mortgage company in Texas?
Did he check with that? Because I heard that the owner is a person who lives in Toronto.
Are you last name or first name of Ken? Supposedly he was interested in the property but has not purchased it, was my understanding, or at least that's what he said.
There's people living in this house, who's
Yeah.
getting the money for the rest? Somebody's gotta be getting money.
Maybe that guy's a go-between as a
Squatters.
landlord, sending the money to Texas. I don't know. I feel bad for people
I
who,
talked to the chief today, and he said that Ray Hall, supposedly he'd done the paperwork on it, but he's on vacation, and he didn't know the trees, he said, tell the chief, the place is gonna take the trees. I ain't telling the chief, please go about the trees. Again, because there was a wall that fell over onto a sidewalk. If we move that wall, are we gonna be liable if that bank slides out? You know, but that wall's been there for 3 years on a sidewalk, on a public sidewalk.
yeah, it's pretty bad.
So we move
Huge
it,
chunk.
and the rest of this wall comes down, we're gonna be liable.
Yeah.
Walls, boys, walls. It's nuts. There's a garage over behind Adam's grandparents over there. The roof completely caved in, the garage doors are falling off. I don't think they're there right now. It's full of cats. That's a shame. It's in the alley over there behind the funeral home. I don't know the answer.
Pretty soon, our village is gonna be taken over by weeds, trees,
Well, we
bushes,
have
shrubs.
we have three
and
inspectors, okay?
It's gonna
So-
be having two.
Well, we got 3 right now. But, you know,
I do agree, we need to do something with that, the maintenance code or the ordinance that we have, and we need to put a little bit more teeth in, even if it has, in some way, to include shrubs and things like that. We can look at other municipalities or other cities to see what kind of verbiage they use, to use as kind of a template, just something to go off of, because to not have any
Yeah.
guidance or anything in that regard it just isn't right.
And when you see them taller than the street signs, you know, and they're coming out onto the sidewalk and every place else, it's ridiculous. I feel bad for people who live in this town who have to look at stuff like that every day. It's sad.
there's no pride left.
No,
Could
no,
care less.
you know.
They don't care. All right, let's move on. Service, that's buildings, roads, and transportation, that's myself. I have nothing. What I had, I give it to Bobby. Because a couple roads to be taken care of. Streetlights, sides and curbs, sidewalks and curbs, Adam.
I have nothing, just want to ask Jags, did you ever take care of Ellen up there? I haven't heard from her, so,
Yeah, sure.
okay, I haven't heard from her, so it should be good news. I just want to make sure that was addressed, so. I have nothing.
Again, these committees, you gotta go to the right people, you know. You gotta go to him, you gotta go to chief, you gotta go to chief, or Timmy. You gotta go to him. You know, that's the only way to get it done, go to him.
Yeah. I mean, anything with streetlights, obviously, we go to Jags.
Right, well-
He can handle all that really easy,
Yeah,
a
fine.
lot faster than all of us, so.
Water and
The
sewer.
direct line.
George,
All right, I got things.
you got things.
All right.
Committee is this, George?
Huh?
Which committee is this?
Water and sewer. First few things. It wasn't your last thing, so very much you said any updates I may not have gotten them, so I apologize as far as these things go. Meters, where do we stand on the new meters as far as implementation of those?
We haven't put, I think we got about 30 of them installed so far. I mean, we got all the training done.
Okay, how'd the train go? Productive? Did they look like it'll be successful for us long range as far as these meters?
As far as I'm concerned, it was, talking to George, it went well. So,
Good. Good. As far as communication via software with our ancient software up there, we're still pretty.
Everything should work.
Functions?
Yes, everything should function. I mean, like I said before, they had the training. I'll touch base with George again to see exactly where he's at. But, like I said, my goal is to start going after the zero usage folks right off the bat. So,
Okay.
as soon as we're done, like I said before, as soon as we're done paving, we're gonna make an effort to start really going after, the problems we have, especially with the delinquent accounts and zero usage of water. Those are the first ones we've gone after anyhow, the folks that have zero usage of water.
That's where the new meters are going.
But I want to get an area I'd like to get done also, you know what I'm saying? And one of the areas I wouldn't mind getting done is probably down in Georgia's rundown that area, just so, because it's one of the first ones we have to get back to the county to get it read. So, if we get all that done down there, it'd be great. Just radio reads, bang, gone, then we can concentrate in Mingo.
Question. You said radio read.
Well,
So, is it drive-by or is it AMI?
Drive-by.
Wait. So it's not AMI, it's
I'm
AMR?
pretty sure it's drive-by.
Because I thought for certain we bought AMI.
I think
If not, I'm concerned.
AMR is drive-by.
Yeah.
I think it's drive-by, George. I think that's what we went with. Let me find out.
Yeah. Find out for me, 'cause
You think it was
Because
AMI?
in past discussions, I'd asked and I was told AMI. And if it's drive-by, then my whole perception as far as is this a good plan, was it financial, stuff like that, is completely out the window as far as I'm concerned. I'm just being real as far as, I mean, AMI is the future type thing. If we're just doing AMR, that's
We're going
barely
backwards.
present technology. Everyone's moving to AMI just for, information's sake. And
I
that's
thought
what
they
they've
were
been
in Mars,
pushing.
I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to
Yeah,
them.
because if granted, it beats what we have. Anything new is going to beat what we currently have.
Yeah.
But if we're just getting AMR, then it's at the different cost structure and stuff. I'm not impressed with what they gave us then.
Well, even if we do that AMR, we could actually go to the AMI also if we had to, you know.
But it was going to require antenna and stuff like
Yeah.
that for communication devices.
I'll find out. I thought it was AMR though. I'm not positive. I thought it was radio read. I
Okay.
thought it was drive-by reading.
Okay. Two more things. I don't know as far as council, how far you've gotten in Frasher's report just yet. I've read, I like numbers, charts, graphs, figures. I've read it like 5 times. I'm weird like that. It is what it is. And going through that, I do have one couple things I'm going to send Frasher because I think we can change their number scale in reference to percent of MHI because they forgot to put in the sewer CI as far as their calculations as far as we're currently charging customers.
Mhm.
So we put that in there, that's extra $8 on there, and it kind of makes us look, a little bit more in need. So I'll get with Steve and send him an email as far as how that goes. Second thing about that, this is a 0% interest loan. That being said, there is a cost involved with something like this. I would encourage, of course, we'll see how the end of the year type works out. It may involve some rate adjusting to some degree, because even free money is not free, especially if you got to pay it back type thing. So may council bear that in mind. It's going to require some adjusting, but we have surplus in other areas. Maybe we can adjust things to make it a washout type thing. But if we go with this particular plan here that was presented, you're looking at about flat $5 per month type thing is what he was suggesting inside this presentation he gave us. So do keep that in mind. But I think, I'm optimistic, there's a way to modify our current scales and structure that we could possibly, I don't want to say absorb necessarily, but move things around our structure to make it so that there is either zero impact or minimal impact upon the customer base. So that is very, very optimistic and reassuring. And of course, looking at this, I just want to, again, as you guys read and look through these, to commend our current administrator, Bob, as well as past administrator, Steve, who's taking the building also right now, as far as the plan, the pathway. And Bob, all the work you've done on this has been tremendous in working with the engineering firm. And with all the engineering type things, by that much, the amount of money you've saved us, I can't even fathom all this type of stuff, unless you know how. I do appreciate that. So as you guys look through, keep looking through, and of course, we'll discuss that moving forward. And lastly, many of you, of course, who read the paper and have heard discussions from the county, and have heard, of course, Kyle mentioned that new meter we have for sewer down Bruce Run is working very well. The county's realizing how good that meter is working, type thing. So roughly, I don't know as far as the funding, but the county water and sewer had to approach the county commissioners to get more money appropriated to pay us money this year. And it's September. So it's kind of bear in mind type thing as far as, there's been flow, yes, as far as a lot of rains, but the new meter is accurate. And based upon the paper's reporting and things like that, the county wants to open up discussions and negotiations with that. They have mentioned going based upon water consumption. I disagree with that type idea, because we're not getting just the consumption, we're getting all the sewer flow that goes into that pipe. So that's a little different type thing, unless they want us to base the structure of the rate based upon that type thing where we kind of double and then go proceed. Okay, maybe. But I do want to state, that contract we have with them for sewer is beyond ancient. It's, from the 80s, and the language in that is quite cumbersome. And to say we've been following that to a T, I don't think. I believe we may be undercharging them it quite frequently. There may have been times we've done the opposite, because we're supposed to do some roughly numbers, checking the flow into the plant based upon them, and looking at our operations, personnel, and maintenance numbers, and doing 85% of that based upon flow to then get their rate. That's all in that nasty contract. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
Complex ridiculousness, all right? It would be into both parties' benefit to get a new contract in place. I would definitely agree with that. I don't know if I would want to agree to the county's ideas and terms on that, but I think it would behoove council, on our side, to first of all, do some number analysis type thing, as we get new data from this new meter, see how much is actually flowing in there. Because we're treating all that. It's not that we're neglecting stuff that comes in, we'll treat this one but not this gallon. No, it's all being treated. We can take it into account. Because all involves personnel and plant operations. Yet, I do believe that contract needs to be opened and renegotiated based upon just the language nonsense alone. With that being said, I do not know the legality type thing as far as would that be a mixed committee that negotiate with the county? Would it be the administrator? Would it be mayoral appointment?
Normally, it would be like the administrator would negotiate with their water superintendent.
Because we
And
did
then
the
ultimately-
water.
Then
agreement.
ultimately, they would both take both council and the commissioners to approve it.
Because in the past, we had the water agreement with council, it was a mixed committee.
Yeah, but really the way you should do it is, you have an administrator, they have an administrator basing effectively, that's what their superintendent is. They should certainly at least do the preliminary, and then if you determine down the road, if it gets to a point where there's a few details, that would be where you might want a committee from council and from commissioners or whoever. But initially, it should be the administrator and their water, I assume their water superintendent. It's generally Bob's job to negotiate those contracts, council approves them, but council generally isn't the people that are actually doing the negotiation.
That's just different from when the water was done entirely.
Well, it may have been, maybe.
Because the water was
that would
literally
be the-
commissioners versus, type of,
Is that the one we gave them for $2 a thousand?
that's right.
Yeah, well, I don't like that at all, so.
I'll have to show the numbers that get from elsewhere to help you understand why it was what it was. We can discuss one-on-one a little bit about that.
Yeah, and how long have they been getting away with paying less?
Yeah, based
Okay.
upon the actual flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I understand completely. I mean, we're,
You know,
we're
so-
all for the village.
So I'm not gonna sit here and cry about it, as far as trying to lower their rate whatsoever. I won't even entertain that, I don't think.
Because my only concern is that the contract language is just ridiculous.
I can
And we're not
understand that.
following it. No one's really following that language. No one really looks at it and says, we just kept our rates with them the same. Just didn't touch them for, even when we raised our rates, we didn't touch the county's rates. Made the county be aware of that. That's the thing. But again, we're not really checking that. So I think the language does need to be rewritten. The only question is what agreement can we reach with both parties to make it commensurate and also accountable in reference to how much sewage we're actually getting, because there's nothing separate there, it all just flows in.
You gonna make that a form of motion?
I'm trying to figure out how to word the motion.
To give Bob the authority to go into contract negotiations with the county?
Because on their end, in the past, it was commissioner rather than the superintendent type thing. That's just from past experience. And we formed a committee to do that in the past. I'm just confused at the change. And it throws me
Well,
off.
generally,
Yeah.
you asked me what the proper procedure is.
I appreciate
and
that.
Normally,
Yeah.
it would be
I
the
thought the why was
administrator.
different
Now,
first. I don't know.
what the county decides they want to do is up to the county.
Yeah.
But your proper procedure would be to have the administrator do the negotiations.
Okay. Then I have no problem making a motion for the village administrator to begin entering negotiations with the county in reference to our current sewage agreement for modification and then representation of the council.
I'll second it.
Motion second, roll call.
Bertel,
Yes?
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Irvin,
Yes.
Keeler.
Yes.
Schutz.
All right, while we're on water and sewer, Bob asked me about, you okay in case we don't get the 0% when you do, or maybe,
Yeah, well, I just need a motion to say I can proceed after that type of financing. That's just something that I gotta fill a square so that goes into part of the procedures to actually go after the funding. I just need a motion from you
Was
guys to
that
say that you.
like WWPCLF type
Yeah,
funding or was it
it's
something else?
WWA or something. I can't remember all the acronyms, trust me, but it's a 3%. through Paulie, yeah.
And that's the one that was already approved, it's the same type?
Yeah, actually,
okay.
we gotta reapply for it right now. We actually got approval for 0, but this is a fallback for 3%, just in case they don't approve us for 0% to get the grid system and the EQ tank rolled into our storm sewer separation.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do that all together at 0%. I think they're gonna do it. I don't think that's gonna be an issue. But if they don't, there's no money there. At least have this 3% sitting there if we want to continue down the road to get the EQ tank and do the grid system. That's just, I'd rather have a backup than have nothing at all. So,
Understood.
I mean, we're just making, like I said, we're just going to have it there. We're not going to use it if we don't have to.
Oh, understood. Yeah.
So.
Good, George.
I move to approve and give the administrator power to proceed in the seeking of the 3% additional funding in reference to that which was already received and achieved based upon likely to be PCLF, could be something else, as he mentioned before this council.
Second?
Yep.
Jody? Questions? Roll call?
Shoots.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
Urban.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Patel.
Yes. Anything else, George?
That's all, Jeff.
Cemetery Parks and Recreation, again, that's me. The swimming pool's being drained, cleaned, we're ready to paint it as soon as the weather does something without rain. Timmy took all the benches from the shelter house and put them away. He told me next week he might take the tables and put them inside. We could do something with the bleachers up there. We could either store them someplace and maybe recycle them and buy some new bleachers or whatever we do with these things, because we can't use them anymore.
Yeah, we can't. That's not modifying. Like I said,
Retrofit them.
Yeah, I got a grant, and I'm just, we won't know probably for another couple of months whether or not I received it to do that blacktopping and actually get new bleachers up there. Matter of fact, I'll contact that guy here pretty soon and see where they're at as far as if we made the first cut or whatever.
I think we should definitely scrap them.
Yeah, they're not in the greatest of shape, that's for sure. But it's a pretty decent cost to buy new ones too, though they're quite expensive.
Can we get some price on some new ones?
Oh yeah, I can get you price. I got a book over there, yeah. I'll get you pricing on new ones.
We just gotta let something else on scrap ahead of us.
Yeah.
That's what scared me. There's a lot of people riding around.
Caught them already.
Even if we couldn't get more stands, the benches that came from the township, those
Oh,
are
nice.
beautiful. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
even, because that's almost what Steubenville has there, the individual benches lining, the
Good
wall.
day.
One thing Steubenville has is a slope.
Yeah, it's slipped up, so
Yeah.
everybody, you're
By
not
the
sitting
time you
behind
get to the third
somebody.
row, you won't see
Yeah.
anything.
Mhm. That's why I put the stage up higher, so they said, why do you put it up that high? It's because that's where it should be.
Yeah.
We can check prices now and see if it'll hold true through the new year. We wouldn't want to order right now.
Yeah.
Sit all fall, all winter.
We should see some
Yeah.
prices up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seek pricing, see if it'll hold true into the new year, and then maybe, early spring next year. we can
Because our baseball fields are, we had them on a contract with the school,
Yeah.
right? So,
I think so, still,
and I think that's for 3 years. I think it's in the second year this year. Right?
sounds about right, yeah. Yeah,
And I'm sure they'll come back after this again because they're gonna lose their field out there in Ridge.
all right.
So it's something we may have to look at in the near future.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is where I bring up, about letting us have our event up there again this year for Halloween.
Upside down.
All right.
Me personally, I have no problem with that. Just clean up when you're done.
Clean up when I'm done.
Yeah, don't leave the cobwebs on the picnic.
No, I'm not gonna do that this year.
Okay. Does anybody have a problem with it?
Any problem with that?
From 7 to 9. Now, the only
I did
problem I
5:30
see.
to 7:30.
Yeah, I would say
So-
make it maybe 7:30 to 9:30, and that way.
Well, we'll stay there until the last person leaves, so.
That's a question I had. The mayor announced the trick or treat was 5 to 7 p.m.
Oh, I thought you said 5:30 to 7:30.
I wrote 5 to 7. Everybody else is 5:30 to 7:30. So somebody want to, we're going to put it in the paper 5 to 7.
Halloween's the mayor said October 31st, 5 to 7.
Right.
That's what he said, that's why I got it.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I wrote
Everybody
that.
Everybody else is 5:30 to 7:30. So
One reason to be 5 to 7 is you have better hours for
They go somewhere else.
commute. Yeah.
We gotta have fire to go through.
Push that back.
So you want to have 7 to whatever,
Yeah, 7 to 9 is good, that worked good for us, and everybody was out of there by 9.
Bob, you got a problem with that?
No, just have to make
Oh,
sure.
you clean up.
Yeah, you can have it up the park, right? Is that where you want to have it at?
Yeah,
You ever get your fryer out there?
I got it out.
Then make sure everything's on up there for you.
Yeah, I'll
You
go
probably have
with,
to, I don't know if I don't think they've closed the restroom down yet.
I hope they're locked though.
Yeah, they should be locked.
I'm looking.
I don't know about the water being shut.
Yeah, I don't know.
They haven't turned the water yet.
I don't know, I doubt if they've done winterizing up there yet.
You want them open then for that, for that?
Yeah, we'll probably have one.
All right, Jeff. Good work, Jeff. Very good.
You want me to advertise it on the positive page?
Sure.
7 to 9. 10:31.
Health
Cocoa
and
and funnel cakes?
yeah, free hot chocolate and funnel cakes.
Okay. Yeah, I do have something for insurance. We are going to have a phone conference call tomorrow, 2 p.m. Myself, Adam, and Jeff with Joe Johns, who is with First National Bank. They also do municipal insurances. So we're gonna, this is basically just gonna be he wants an introduction. Tell us a little bit about what they do, how they offer it. And I warned him that it all is gonna boil down to price,
Health.
health and pension.
Who's on that committee, Jay? You and Louis?
Me, Adam, and Jeff.
There is no pension.
Oh, that's what the committee's called. Maybe we should
It's
drop
called
the
health
pension
and
from the
pension,
committee
because
then.
if there's really anything that involves the pension board or anything, that's who would handle it, but we don't provide, the state provides the pension plan.
Okay.
So just health insurance.
So is Jag will be included in that meeting? or-
Are you available at 2 o'clock tomorrow?
I really don't want to get involved in what the last year's meeting is going to tell you the truth.
I told him and I told Frank Harnick, bottom line is the price of the
We tried
village.
to help people
I
last year, all
mean,
it did was have a rainstorm on us, so.
yeah, so, and I told him we cannot change coverage, all we can do is change carriers. I sent him a copy of what the current coverage was and told him that the bottom line is the price, whoever has the best price wins.
Well, for the union, though, you don't start up again like bees.
Yeah.
So,
There's so much crying, I thought it was in shoots.
All right, anything else you got to do?
nope, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Senior citizens, Jeffy.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, okay, I got something. I received 3 checks in the mail for the senior centers. The family and friends of Thelma Peterson, which was nice, with the contribution was sent in memory of Thelma. And we thank the people, sent a nice card back. And also, we got plans for the Christmas party, it'll be December the 15th on a Saturday. December the 15th on a Saturday. Any contributions, I would appreciate it.
You have a time yet, Fred?
Come one, come all.
What time?
What time?
Yeah.
We'll let you know what time it will be.
When's the Thanksgiving party?
Thanksgiving
Party
party.
with Thanksgiving party?
You having it?
So December 15th, you know what time yet?
Yeah, no, not yet. It'll be in the
You
afternoon.
just wait for money, that's all.
Ain't gonna be in the morning.
Cakes and hot chocolate.
Funnel cakes and chocolate.
You can come in anytime, I'll be open.
Anything else? Jeff, anything else?
I don't know anything. Unless you want to talk about that columbarium niche again.
Do what?
That niche wall I brought up.
I missed that.
Remember I brought up about a columbarium niche wall in the middle of the cemetery?
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Said, too expensive.
What are you gonna buy?
I'm not gonna buy it. City was good. I was, never mind.
Another
Let's
wall.
move on. We'll move on.
I thought you were built like a mausoleum up there or something.
Yeah, like for cremains.
Yeah. All right.
Matter of way, I got the center all fixed up for Halloween. So anybody wants to have their parties down there can have
BHJ, I
them. For a
guess.
contribution, that is.
Nobody's here for BHJ, right? You want to go, George?
Regional planning, I'm fairly certain I can make it for regional planning tomorrow. I have to call for people, but I think I can move some things around. Unless someone else can make it, if so, I won't move things
He's
around.
like a regional planner, he's like.
VHA, I know.
I'm leaving Thursday to go
VHA
south.
is,
That's the only reason why.
Mr. Smith.
I guess so.
Uh,
I can't ever make those meetings.
Annexation.
Satch might make them.
Adam,
Nothing at this time.
economic development. George,
Nothing mentioned at this time, sir.
good of the order. Good of the order, how's that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Huh?
Anything else?
Old business. New business.
Thank you, Jack. No, I don't have any.
Anyhow, I'd like to go to executive session for 5 minutes on personnel. 5 minutes, that's it.
Do I need to make a motion or second it, or?
Somebody else.
Second?
I make that.
Okay, well, I second.
Okay. Sorry, folks.
That's
Bye.
Action?
Yeah, what's it for? Personnel.
Personnel.
Will there be action?
No, probably not. How's that sound?
I'm gonna sit down.
Oh, I gotta, wait a minute, we gotta.
Oh, the minutes.
We gotta do the minutes.
No one cares about the minutes.
That's for Ray and Martin. That's for Ray and Martin.
You want me to send
That's
you big?
very concerning to the present board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably agree.
Because I've asked numerous times to pull the AMI.
Questions in the, or, Satchel.
No, not really. I mean, I guess I mean me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm really not really.
Board, you get all the.
Families voting, no, we don't have it. Yeah, I mean,
Bobby, you hear what he said?
what's that?
Excuse me, I didn't mean to.
I'll send you all the VHJ stuff.
Oh, okay, you go to them?
I'm on the executive
Oh,
board.
okay.